Let's set sail on a journey today. Try to say that a few times. I want to introduce you to an amazing watch that's got a bunch of luxury, it's got some engineering, and it's also got amazing design. You know, and it integrates a feeling of the sea and something that I think is special that Corum has done here. This is the Corum Admiral's Cup Regatta Chronograph 44mm in solid gold and black vulcanized rubber. It's just an amazing watch, feels great on the wrist, and it's just very well put together and something that I'm appreciating right now while I'm doing this video. Today we're going to start with learning about Corum's heritage, then we'll learn a little bit about the design and specs of this watch, features, things that make this watch special. We're especially going to put a little bit of effort into learning about the split-second chronograph. I'll give you some of my final thoughts, and then finally I'm going to have a bunch of B-roll so that you can go look at this watch in a bunch of different perspectives and kind of see if this is something you want to add to your collection. This is a beautiful watch, and I think you probably will want to. So I want you to sit back and relax, pour yourself a nice drink, and let's learn a little bit more. Corum was founded in 1955 in La Chaux-de-Fonds, Switzerland, and you may know that that's basically where all of the activity for watchmaking goes in the world in Switzerland. There's the Jura Mountains. It's an amazing area. It's beautiful, but there's a lot of watchmaking that goes on in Switzerland. It was founded by Gaston Ries and Jane Bonwart, and they have their own unique style, and they've put a lot of effort into creating a unique brand with unique styling. And there's been various models that are just attributed to Corum, and it kind of shows their edginess and how creative they are and what they wanted to do and what they wanted to initially kind of release and expose people to. So in 1957, they had a tube design, and it's a beautiful watch that, I'll probably try to get here on the channel if I can. 1958, they had a Chinese hat design, which turned out to be something that was, I don't know, for me it's a little bit different, a little quirky, but that's kind of how Corum does their stuff and how they like to design. 1978, they released a Rolls-Royce watch. And then, of course, in 1980, they had the Corum Bridge watch, which for me, the bridge watches are beautiful. I plan on having one here on this channel. You're going to have to watch that on Watches, Whiskeys, and Wines because it's going to show you how unique this design is, what they've done in their engineering. And I just think it's beautiful because they call it a bridge because everything's there in the center. So they have unique styling and some stuff that I really like as a watch collector and somebody who enjoys to wear the watches. But they are unique, and that's what we're going to learn here about them when we look at the styling here with this Corum watch. Now let's take a look at the star of this show. This guy, what I have on my wrist now. It's hefty, it's weighty. It's not a light watch, but it's not that heavy, to tell the truth. It doesn't feel that bad on the wrist, and I think it's because the way that the weight has been balanced around the entire wrist because of the bracelet. There's quite a bit of weight in the bracelet as well, and it doesn't feel like it's leaning on your wrist too much. But the weight is there, and it feels great. This particular design has a dodecagon, which is a 12-sided shape, and that's a nod to the nautical world. And the design elements they have here are all about the nautical world, and that's the reason why it's called the Regatta. This obviously is a chronograph. There's been different versions of this type of watch as well. This isn't the first version. This one in particular is a limited edition that's only has, I think, 600 examples in total. But yeah, this is a limited edition, and it's kind of special in that regard. But there's been other versions that have different combinations of materials, metals, colors, things like that. And the OG version, I think, was back in 1960. And that version was also a chronograph. But they have a stainless steel also that I'm aware of. They also have a titanium version. So they have some pretty cool combinations out there. But this one right here, it takes the cake. It's amazing. Speaking of design, let's talk a little bit about the combination that they decided to do here. The gold, that rose gold, it's warm. They've given it like a scratch resistant kind of finish to it. Looks almost like a satin finish on both the case and as well as the bracelet. It's got a little bit of polished areas. You've got a little bit of polish here on the crown, a little bit of polish on the bezel, and a little bit of polish where the clasp is at that says Corum. But overall, it's got a warmth to it. It's got a nice warmth, luxury feel to it. The black rubber makes it modern, makes it a little athletic. That works for me. I need that. I like for my watches to be worn on any occasion that I choose. I don't like to wear just a sporty watch or just a dress watch. And I know that there's certain watches for those occasions, and I'll do that, but I don't like that. I prefer for a watch to be more balanced, and I'm able to do what I want with it. And this one right here, I think you can do that. You're going to look at the black accents everywhere, and you're going to see it also in this dial. And I think they really match up well. When you look down on it, when you're taking a look at it from the side, you see those black elements pop out, and they really match well with this watch. So for me, the design, it hits a lot of the marks that I really like. True to the Admiral's Cup line of watches from Corum, this has that Dorikagon shape to it, that 12-sided shape. It's unique to this watch, and it's an obvious nod to nautical type of design, compasses, astrolabes, things like that. And I think it's a really good choice for this type of watch. This is obviously an automatic movement, self-winding. I think it has a 48-hour power reserve, which is pretty significant. You know, that's good enough for you to wear throughout the week, take it off for the weekend, or take it off for a day or whatever you need to do, and you'll still have enough power reserve left over to be back in action and be telling good time. It has that chronograph movement, which is a split-second chronograph, which I'm going to cover in a little bit more depth here in a minute. And that's COSC certified, so it's a really well put together watch with a precise timing mechanism and a split-second chronograph. The split-second chronograph on this watch is something that's highly prized. It's a luxury complication that really makes a timepiece a true luxury watch with the sophisticated horological opulence. You know, it's just something that you want in a watch to represent what it's capable of and just what a company can do, especially with the heritage that Corum has. This split-second chronograph, all it basically means is that you're taking measurement of time and you're able to do it on the watch independently of the actual seconds hand. You've got two pushers. You've got a start and stop pusher at the top, and then you've got a pusher at the bottom that's to reset it back to 0. And with the split second, which is also called a rattrapante, what it basically does is it allows you to stop that split second hand intermediately, and you can allow the other chronograph hand to keep running and then restart it when you like to, or set it back to 0. So with this particular version, when you see it in action, you just see the commitment that Corum has to watch excellence and what they ultimately want to share with the world when it comes to creating a beautiful piece of art that you can wear on your wrist. True to this watch's nautical heritage and true to what it's supposed to represent in terms of the regatta, which basically all a regatta is boating events, sport that's related to yachting, you know, things like that. That's what a regatta is. So true to that element that's there when you think about this watch is that you can actually use this watch in the water if you wanted to. You could use it in water activities because it has 5 bars of water resistance, which is equivalent to about 50 meters or 165 feet. So you could do that if you wanted to. I mean, I don't know if I would do this. I'm pretty sure it would be fine, but I'd probably just really wash my hands, maybe wear it in the pool, possibly take a shower with it, you know, or be out in the rain. I don't think it's gonna wreck this watch. It also has quite a bit of lume. It's not bad. You know, that you've got the smaller hands that are in the subdials. They have a little bit of lume on them, but then the main hands, the minutes hand and the hour hand, they have quite a bit of lume on them. So this is something that you can use in low light visibility situations or even dark situations. Now we'll move on to the dial and the crystal. As you know, most modern day watches now that are luxury or well made or well crafted, however you want to look at it, have sapphire crystal, and this one has it as well, and it's basically the standard. And that just means it's got a higher level of scratch resistance, and it's something that you want. You kind of want that on a watch. The dial itself is actually really cool. It's got a bunch of flags where the hours are, and those flags are actually nautical flags. So if you look at the 1 o'clock area of the watch, you're going to have a flag that's nautical that signifies 1. And as you go along all the way up to 10, 11, and 12, you're going to see that now they're using a combination of the flags to signify 10, 11, 12. So I think that's a really cool design feature, and I think it looks really beautiful. The subdials here are also great. You've got this gold outline for each one of the subdials with it's like kind of a little bit of inlaid, but it's black as well with some white, so it's very clear and easy to read. You've also got these these hands that are there in the subdials that are kind of triangular with a little bit of loom on them as well. So the dial design is unique to this watch, unique to Corum, unique to the Admiral's Cup, and it's just a really, really nice design overall. The movement in this watch is the CO986, which comes from Corum, and you're able to actually see that movement through the case back. And for me, I love that. I love the open case back, so you can see the movement, you can see the springs, you can see the gears, you can see, you know, the rotor. You just see elements in it that show the true design intricacies that a watch designer has to employ when they're making movements. And I just love that on this watch. And I think it was a smart move the way they did it on this particular version. This is a great bracelet. I mean, it's a big bracelet. I've got tapered bracelets that are a little bit different, and this one doesn't seem to have any taper, which is okay. When it's gold and it's at this point of collectability, limited edition, you know, you're gonna know that you want more gold. You just want that, and that's what you have here. And every single link shows that from top to bottom, and it feels nice, but it feels very sturdy. It doesn't feel weak by any measure. They've got that vulcanized rubber on it as well, which I love. It feels great. I love the way it feels on my finger. I like to touch it, and it feels strong. It feels like it's going to last for a long time. And all that vulcanized rubber is when you add sulfur to it and heat, it just makes it last longer. It makes it more durable, but it even gives it a little bit more elasticity, which is amazing. And that's what vulcanized rubber does. So it's a really good design element here in this watch, and I think it's going to help protect it for a long period of time. You also get that protection. Like I said, it's like a satin finish that has like a scratch resistant protection on it. And that's good. It's just when you have a gold watch or any kind of precious metal watch, they get scratched. They just do. And you have to repolish them. You have to kind of go, you know, you have to kind of put in a lot of work to maintain that watch. This one right here, I think is going to have a lot less work you have to put into the maintenance, which is just great. And it's something that we want. The clasp, I honestly, I love what Corum did here with their Corum insignia. You know, Corum along with the clasp itself, it's got like this gold polish to it. And that might be a part that gets scratched, but it's okay because it kind of stands out. But the clasp itself is strong, weighty, heavy. It feels like it would take a lot of work to get this off your wrist, and it feels like it's going to last many, many years. And that's something I love on a watch like this. I'm going to give you guys some final thoughts, kind of tell you what I think, and I think it's all positive. For me, this is a watch that I'm gonna have in my collection probably forever. I don't see any reason to not have it. It's just, it hits a lot of the points I want, and I think it's a legacy watch. It's a watch where you own it, you share it with other people, you even pass it down to your children, and you bring it out on special occasions, and that's certainly what this is here. If you're a collector of fine things, you're certainly gonna love this watch. If you're a watch collector, you're gonna like it. You're probably going to love it later on, but I don't think it's going to be one of your first watches. It'll probably be a watch that comes along maybe a couple years down the road after you've had a stainless steel version, or a few different types of watches that are, you know, luxury level, and you get used to taking care of that watch, because obviously this is the kind of watch you don't want to damage easily, and you want to spend some time caring for it and truly appreciating what it is. I think this is something that you could wear to special occasions and events, and it's going to create a lot of memories for you, and it's going to make you feel confident while you're at those events creating those memories. I want to thank you very much for spending the time to learn about Corum, to learn about this Admiral's Cup Regatta. I also want to tell you, if you can, please subscribe, please like, share, comment, you know, tell me things that you want to learn about, what else you want to see. I'm all for that. I also have another video for you, Ors Aquis date 41.5 millimeter, which was a recycled version. It's called Upcycle. I'll have that video as well. It kind of fits with this theme here. Take a look at it and tell me what you think. Take care.